Hey, welcome back to K&J, What 5HT channel on YouTube, where we talk about world health, academia, and times. And, we deal with those 5 H's in the truth, where the truth is, it hurts, the truth is hard, the truth helps, it's healthy, and it heals. Yeah. So last time we was with you, we was talking about the Noah and the three sons of Noah, how it relates to us today, how it impacts our world today. So I just want to just get right back into it, so we can pick up where we left off from on the last post, where we know what happened. I'll just read it again, and then we'll start and we'll move forward. We're in Genesis, the ninth chapter. We start at the 18th verse. They say in the Sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japhet. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be a husbandman and planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it up on their shoulders, and went backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were back, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah woke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brother. And he said, Blessed be the Lord of God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tent of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. We went through all the last posts about some of our Paleo Hebrew meanings of these words, because I know people, when they take it naturally, so literally, it just sounds like Noah had a big bottle of wine or so, drank it, got drunk, took off all his clothes, naked. Son came in, looked at him, saw it, whatever, and told his other two brothers, and his other son came in backwards, covered his nakedness. And when Noah woke up from the wine, he knew what his younger son had done. And, he said, Curse Canaan, which uh, would eventually be Ham's great great grandson on down the line. And that he would be a servant of not only Shem, but also Japheth. And how he said, Bless the Lord of Shem, or blessed, meaning the understanding that's being given to the spirit from the Spirit of God to Shem. And Japheth, his territory will be enlarged. And even the Hebrew meaning of Japheth means enlarged. That's exactly what it means. It means enlarged, fair, or persuading. Either of the three. In this case, we'll take enlarged. In another case, on down the line, we might take persuading as it goes. So, like we said, those songs, they spread themselves out. They, like you said, they overspread the earth again. Each one of them migrated to different parts of the world. Ham being the northern part, northeastern part of Africa, we'll say. Japhet doing most of Europe, a vast majority of Asia. And then we have Shem, who did parts of Asia and down over in the Middle Eastern area. That's where he dwelled. And Abraham happened to be a descendant of Shem, but we'll get there. That we're trying to get there. What we're talking about now are the three sons of Noah. Now, like we said, when Noah went forth from the ark, and then his son actually set feet on dry earth and began to go off and build nations. And when he say Noah drank wine, this is a type of faith that he learned, because wine is a representation of faith in Paleo Hebrew, meaning, like we said in the last post. Just want to bring you forward in case you haven't seen the last post. And it also said that he was a husbandman. And we also know that God has always declared himself the husband and his people being in bride. He's always declared that. So knowing, and now he's declared himself a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And a vineyard is actually a people or a nation of people or tribes. So he has actually pronounced himself to be a guardian on, or maybe a type of God over these people, over this tribe or this nation. That's when he planted the vineyard. We're doing Paleo Hebrew meanings now. We ain't talking about grapes and wine. You can go to the building and get that. Go to the building. They already gave it to you. They'll give it to you again. I'm trying to give it to you to where it makes sense. Okay. Where it makes literal sense, rather than you think someone went planted plant some grapes and then harvest them and then did whatever he do to make it out of wine and drink it and get drunk. But wine is a type of faith. So therefore what he's saying is, Noah learned of a new type of faith and he was drunken by it. Drunken meaning to stumble, or you going astray, or you going astray, or to go astray. That means, so now he learned this new type of faith and he began to stumble, and it made him go astray. And even naturally, so if you drink too much, you're going to stumble anyway, and you're going to tend to go astray as well. And you tend to do a whole lot of things. But right now, the spiritual part is, that's what drunken means, to stumble, or you stumbled or going astray or has gone astray. So Noah went astray. And when he went astray, he obviously led this group of people, with just the vineyard. He led this group of people with him as he went astray. Who's he going astray from? More than likely, he's going astray from the Most High God, the Spirit of the Most High God, that same Spirit that came to him and instructed him to build that ark, so that he would not be taken away in the flood with the rest that were taken away. So Noah was spared with his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. They were all spared. And now we're on the post side. We're on the backside of this flood. And now Noah begins to stumble. And what happens is, Ham, one of the younger sons, and see how I say Ham, the father of Canaan, and it just highlights it. And when it says something about Shem and Japheth, it didn't say who they were the father of or nothing. So that means Ham is going to be play a very vital role in what's about to start taking place after post flood. Okay, so Ham, he was the father of Canaan, and he saw his father's nakedness, right? So he saw his father's ignorance, because that's what nakedness mean in the Paleo Hebrew. In the Paleo Hebrew meaning, it means ignorant or foolishness or wandering. You're wandering somewhere ignorantly, or you're wandering somewhere foolishly. So that's what Ham saw. He saw the nakedness of his father. Then he went and told his 2 brothers, hey, look, Dad over there doing some foolish stuff, man. He fell off. Whatever he was doing, whatever we was doing before the ark, he's doing something totally different now. So Ham looked on that. So he was kind of interested in that thing. He needed to see. And you can go in the last post and see some of the other scriptures that I that I also referenced with this reading here. And I'm not going to do that right now, because I want to expedite this and move forward. I'm trying to get to 8. So Noah awoke from the wine, or that new type of faith that he had fallen in, right? He awoke from it. That's after Japheth and Shem, they went in. They didn't want to look on the foolishness. They don't want to be a partaker of that ignorance that Noah was involving himself and the people that more than likely were under him were doing. The vineyard, remember, they planted the vineyard. That's a nation or tribe of people. So now they don't want to see that foolishness. So they go in and they get a garment and they walk in backwards. In other words, they don't even want to see it. We don't even want to focus on what Dad is doing now, because we know something's not right with this thing. We're going to go in here. We're going to get him back on track. We're going to get him back in line. And we're going to cover this nakedness. We're going to make sure this foolishness and this ignorance that he's involving himself in, that he awake. He needs to awake from this. this new type of learning or teaching or whatever he's doing or wherever he got it from, he needs to let this go. This new faith that he took on is nothing like he taught us the 600 years pre-flood, because he lived 950 years now. So now this is, and it was about 600 years after when the flood came. So now they like, we so used to this, and now he's doing something different. We don't want to see that. But Ham had interest in it. Whatever that was, Ham had interest in it because he looked on it. And when Noah was awake from that, he knew that Ham was taking interest in that foolishness. He knew it. So this is what he said. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, not Ham, not Cush, not Putin or Phut, and the other sons," but he took it on down to Canaan. And he said that Canaan would be a servant to his brother. Then he said, "Blessed which understanding has been given." When someone is blessed, when you hear the word blessed, understanding has been given. That's the Greek meaning. Knowledge has been given from the Spirit of the Most High God to Shem. Right? And now servants of Ham, Canaan, they're going to be in servitude to Shem's descendants. And not only that, he said, God shall enlarge their faith. That's very important. We're not going to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it one day. But he said, God is going to enlarge Japheth. I know you've heard that before. He will enlarge your territory. Okay, so he enlarged Japheth. And he also said that Japheth gonna dwell in the tents of Shem. That's another topic. We're not dealing with it this time. But it's a whole lot. Just it's all of this stuff is combined and put together in such a short period of time, and it's saying a whole lot within these verses and within these chapters, and it's covering such a vast amount of time, period of time, and years, and it's skipping a lot. So that's why a lot of things is not, it just doesn't come to you. You don't quite get it. And it seems like these things happen all the way down the line and all that. But I'm going to show you how close together some of this stuff is. So now we know that Ham is going to be, Canaan is going to be servant to both Japheth and Shem, right? And then it goes on to say, and Noah lived after the flood 350 years. Check this out. So 600 years pre-flood. After the flood, he lived another 350 years. So all the days of Noah was 950 years. And he died. That's a long time. That's a long time. So he actually lived all that time. So now what we're dealing with Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Check this out as it compares to the word today. This is what we're saying. Most of Africa, which is with the Ham's nations, and that's the territory he resided in, you will see that most of them, they actually were Muslims. That's the way they practice. Muslims or Islam. The moon god. Abraham's father, Terah, okay? He had a lot to do with Nimrod. He was Nimrod's number one idol builder. When he built most of all the idol gods for Nimrod. This is Terah. This is Abraham's father. So don't you remember the conversation that the Most High had with Abraham? We're gonna get to it, but I'm just saying. So most of them were Islam or Muslims. Same thing today, if you look at it. And then when you get over to Japheth, where in the European countries and most of Asia, they were all kind of things, Confucius, Buddhists, you can name it. And now in today's time is dominated by Christianity, especially in the European nations. Remember? Rome. I wouldn't even go as far as say Greek, but we'll say Rome, especially since Rome. It's been represented, it's a representation of the Christian part of the world. That's where we'll say Paul, he did most of his ministry up in Asia Minor, up there in the Europe area and all of that. So now when you get to Shem, where Abraham was in the land of Ur, and he actually was called away from that particular land. Get away from it. This is what it says. I'm at Genesis now, the 11th chapter, and we're going to start at the first verse. No, we're not doing that. We're going to Genesis, the 12th chapter. Let's get this right. Genesis, the 12th chapter, and we're going to start at the first verse. It's saying, the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land which I will show thee. Abraham, you got to go. Get up out of there. Why? Because his father was worshiping idol gods. Remember what I just said? Terah, Abraham's father, Nimrod, chief constructor of idols. And we know once, if we know the life of Abraham, we know that the Most High told him to get out of his father's house because there was too many idol gods. Too many idol gods. And he said in the second verse, he said, and I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and I will make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. I'm going to give you some knowledge and understanding. I'm going to make you a great nation. I'm going to bless you. I'll give you some knowledge and understanding. And I'm going to make your name or your way great. Especially if you serve me, your way is going to be greater. And thou shalt be a blessing. That means you'll be able to go out and give knowledge and understanding. You'll be a blessing. You'll be the giver of knowledge and understanding that I'm going to give you. And the knowledge and understanding will be of me. Now, let me drop something on you. This is something interesting. So, if Abraham had to get out of his father's house because of the idol gods that was up in there, I'm going to share some with you. This is the timeline. I told you Noah already. I told you Noah lived 950 years, 600 years pre-flood, 350 years post or after the flood. During the time after the flood, when Ham did his mess, and even Nimrod with the building of the tower, and if I told you that Terah was Abraham's father, and he was Nimrod's chief idol builder, according to the Epic of Gilgamesh, and we ain't gonna get into that. I'm gonna just bear with me right now. Just bear with me. Even if you did your own timeline, it'll line up. You'll see that when God called Abraham and told Abraham to get out of his father's house, Noah was still alive. Yes. Noah was still alive, along with his son Shem. Okay? I'm not going to deal with Ham and Japheth right now. I'm going to stick with this Abraham, Shem. I'm moving somewhere. But Shem was also still alive. So when Noah got out of his father's house, according to the Sumerian king list, and even the Epic of Gilgamesh, you have it written down on a lot of tablets and stones. It's recorded up under different names, Noah called it Mercury and something, and in some cases, in some instances. But the timeline that I'm speaking of, I just want you to see something right quick. I want you to see something, and I'm gonna let a historian talk to you just for a minute and show you the timeline of Abraham and Noah.
are going to happen right down in here. This is Terah and this is Abraham. That they lived at the same time as Nimrod did, and at the same time that that tower was built. Now, let me show you just a couple of things here. If I were to take these long lifespans literally, which I personally do, a whole new mathematical wizardry world. God is the author of mathematics, but a whole bunch of puzzles and mysteries pop out of this Genesis timeline if we're to take these numerics and these long lifespans literally. Let's look at Noah living nearly 950 years. Now, these are the generations or the genealogy that comes after Noah. The first thing I'd like to point out to you is that if we take the end of Noah's life and we come down here, he's nearly living as long as Terah, who is the father of Abraham. Now, on this side of it, if we're taking the Sumerian kings list, who they're listing off as heroes and many of them gods, as men who lived, well, they're defining them as this because, in part, of the lengthy lifespans or the time frames that they actually lived. They appeared as gods, is what they're recording on many of these stones. And you can see here that Shem, if we follow Shem, now Shem lived exactly 600 years. What that would mean is that he actually outlived Abraham. Now, in your text, Abraham goes and he brings offerings to this unusual character called Melchizedek. Now, in the book of Yashar, it tends to insinuate a belief, this is a Jewish text, that that might be Shem. However, in the book of Hebrews, we're reading that Melchizedek had no beginning or end, so this is something or someone higher than just merely a son of Noah, Shem, but perhaps a clue to what we're talking about. Also, Jesus Christ is said to be in the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek, when Abraham brought the offering, Melchizedek breaks out the bread and the wine, just like Jesus does. What have we got in view when we're looking at Melchizedek? But Shem lived exactly 600 years. 6, of course, is the Vav, or the number of man. We're told that for the first 50 years of Abraham's life, that he was sent to live up here with Noah and Shem in the mountains, where the twin peaks are, where the twin paps are, as they're described on the Epic of Gilgamesh and other documents. In any case, we're told in the book of Yashar that Terah is going to send Abraham, and this is because Nimrod wants to kill the child Abraham when he's born, because his witch doctors see a sign in the stars that Abraham will overthrow his later empire. But we'll get to that in a minute. But Terah, the head idol maker for Nimrod, is going to send Abraham, this is what we're told in Yashar, up into the mountains to live with Noah and Shem for the first 50 years of Abraham's life. So the first 50 years of Abraham's life are with Noah and Shem up there in the mountains. Now watch this. If I come down on the timeline from Noah down to Abraham, well, it's right here. So Abraham was 100 years old when he had Isaac. Abraham lived a total of 175 years. But he would have been exactly 58 years when Noah died. He would have been exactly 58 years old. Abraham would have been at the time that Noah died.
Okay. Yeah, so we got it. Now you see. You got it. So in the same instance, we're gonna bring up another chart that you can just kind of look over while we go down through this here. And that's probably surprising to some people, and some people it's probably not. But I can tell you, I don't know about you. I never heard it in the building. I've never heard that in the building. I don't know if I ever thought about it, but in my mind, to be honest with you, I would have considered Noah long gone by the time Abraham came around. But Noah actually passed away. When Noah passed away or died, Abraham was 58 years old. So 32 years later, he had Isaac, because he had Isaac at 100. Take that back. I got to do the math. It's not 38 years. I'm 32 years. It's 42 years. So 58 years, Abraham and Noah are occupying the earth at the same time. So when the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High God, instructed Abraham to get out of his father's house, it's actually said that Abraham spent that time with Noah and Shem. Could it be that's how he got introduced to the Most High God? Could it be? Okay. So he spent a nice amount of time, according to the tablets, in the book of Jasher, the, Epic of Gilgamesh, and even when you look at some of the Sumerian kings list, some of the names probably been changed, but it's talking about the same people. But your name can change as you go. You can go to another country. Your name may not even mean what it means here. But anyway, that's just for free. But I'm just saying, could it be that Abraham was taught of the Most High God from Shem and Noah? And then this is what the Most High said in verse 3 on Genesis 12:3, saying, I will bless them that bless thee. I will curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed, be given understanding. So Abraham departed. And as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Now see, Lot, Abraham had a brother. His brother's name was Haran. I don't want to take y'all through a lot of the history of Abraham and Haran, what happened. But Abraham ended up adopting Lot, his nephew, which was Haran's son. He adopted Lot because something tragic happened to Haran when him and Abraham was together. Because Nimrod actually was seeking Abraham's life. Yeah, it was foretold by a star. Star in the sky. Same way with Yahweh shot or Yeshua, when the star appeared and Herod was seeking his life because they say something great is about to happen. A king is coming. Go take your throne. Go overthrow you. Nimrod was worried just like Herod was worried, seeking Abraham's life, paid terror to kill his own son, silver and gold. And actually, Abraham's father was a wealthy man because he was, remember, he was Nimrod's chief idol builder. So when Abraham left, he left with money. Yeah, he left with money. Not only from where his father was in Nimrod nation, even when he got to Egypt, he got paid again. If you know the story. But I'm just saying, this thing where we go and we been there so long and go so long, and when the new things are exposed to you or expounded on, or you learn of them, and you've been sitting in a place for so long, you like, where you would think it's like, where did all this new information come from? Well, I'm here to not only suggest, but to tell you, this is not new information. It's just information that you just haven't been afforded to because of where you've been sitting and who you've been sitting under. That's what this is about. That's what this is totally about. So, like I say, this thing is a lot bigger than you can ever imagine. It's a lot bigger than you can ever imagine. So, here we go. We know that Abraham now, right? And we know that he took Lot with him, which is Haran's son, Abraham's nephew. He said Abram took Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their substances that they had gathered. See, they had already money, man, money. Haran had money. Terah had money. So when Lot and Abraham left, they was well to do. They just needed to know more of the Most High, because they had been in a place that where Nimrod was ruling, and we know how Nimrod was ruling, building that tower, confusing the people. You know what I'm saying? Building an image of a god, yeah, and tried to make himself to be God as well. But see, Ham looked on that thing. That's why Cush couldn't help but produce a Nimrod. Because Ham, when he looked on his father's nakedness and saw his father's foolishness and ignorance of this new faith that he had embraced, and then started teaching the people that was under him. You remember he planted the vineyard. So it was like he embraced his father's stumbling or his father going astray. Ham actually embraced it. And obviously, he taught it. Because like I say, if you look at most of Northern Africa, they are, and here's the whole thing, they know of the Most High God, but they were just almost made to be self-declared stepchildren, which they really weren't. But by walking off, it's like the prodigal son when he walked off from his father's house and he wanted give me everything that belongs to me that you're supposed to give me, all of it, give it to me now. So Ham, in a kind of indirect way, did it. And even when we look at the events of Abraham, just think about it. We'll get to it though. But like I just said, so that was, we said this is 12 and 5. And Abraham took Sarah and his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all of their substances they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. So that was some more people. Haran and board. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. So they had to deal with Ham's people. Well, but here's the deal. Noah had settled what they call Ararat, an amount of Ararat, and Abram actually went up there, and what he did was he sat there with Noah and Shem. And after so long, when he come back, he was a child when Nimrod was seeking his life. Nimrod don't even recognize him now. But Abraham had went and got introduced. Abraham had went and got introduced to the Most High God. Yes. Via Noah and Shem. And actually, Shem outlived Noah. Shem outlived Abraham. Noah's son, Shem, he outlived Abraham. Because they had those long lives, and then people looked at them. They were so amazed because of their longevity in life, to where, you can look at a person, and I know, look, I'm going to make this hit home. You can look at a person and almost believe them to be a god. Noah almost outlasted Abram. Abraham lived 175 years. Shem outlived him. Shem lived 600 years. So when you look at a person like that, and you know of them, and then they've been around a long time, remember? Renown, the word renown came when it came to Shem, because that's actually what Shem, in the Hebrew meaning of his name, Shem, is renowned. So he's been around a long time. So you can somewhat look at these people, the average human, you can look at that person and almost make them to be a god. Pastor, I'm just saying, pastor can't do no wrong. Pastor can't say nothing wrong. Yeah, we do it today. Make them to be gods. Yes, we do it. So that's why I said we can't always point fingers at these biblical characters in here. We can't point fingers at them and say, well, we would have and wouldn't do. We doing it today. We doing it worse. Remember? Weeping for Tammuz. Greater, he told Ezekiel, greater abominations these folks gonna do. Greater. So Abraham actually spent time with Noah. And you're like, well, that's not in the scriptures. That's not in the scriptures. It's a whole lot not in the scriptures. I'm going to say that again. It's a whole lot not in the scriptures. Trinity not in the scriptures. Where did it come from? So find out where it came from. Look at it. Study it. Let the Spirit of the Most High God speak to your hearts and your mind. Come to your own conclusion. Like I say, there are tablets and stone that predates everything that we do. We've only had the opportunity to tangibly touch the scriptures since the Gutenberg printing press. Not even 500 years. Prior to 500 years, we had to just believe what came across the pulpit because the only people that had access to it was the priests. It was changed to the pulpit with a lock and key. He couldn't even take it nowhere. So whatever he told you out of it, you just had to believe that. Okay, now it's tangible. You can pick it up, you can get it, you can look at it, and you can examine it and do your own study. Is it a little bit too late for that? I know they always say it ain't never too late to go to school. That's what they told me, at least. Yeah, I just graduated. I just got a college degree in 2017. That's 8 years ago. Is it too late? Is it too late? Take yourself to school. And then don't come with me with what you don't read in there and what you don't see in there. I'm telling you a whole lot of stuff that's in there and you still ain't never saw it. That's because you read. You don't study. I've been there. I've been that person. I'm telling people how many times I've read the Bible. How many times I've read the Bible. I've read this. I've read this. I've read this. Do understand it thou what thou readest? That was the question asked to the Ethiopian eunuch from Philip. No, I don't understand it unless a man teach me. Get in it, dive in it, because it's not going on in the building. You don't have to tell. There's nothing you can tell me about the building, especially if I've been a partaker of that thing since I was a child. And when I say a child, I literally mean child. I'm talking about 6 and 7 years old right now. I was going prior to then, even with my family, because my grandmother came up and she frequented the building all the time, and we had to do the same. So this has been, look, I'm telling you now. And no, the information is not new information. It's old information that just never been, you've never been exposed to it. I'm trying to expose you to it right now. And there's a lot of other areas we're going to start going. Because as I grow, I want to help you grow too. Let us try to grow each other up together. Quit making foolishness out of stuff. Noah's naked. His son, when they not saw him naked, ain't no telling what his son did to him. Man, look, get out of here. Go somewhere else with that. Till you can tell me what nakedness means in the Hebrew language And don't tell me nothing about English, because I already know your English is a corrupt language anyway. Words. Words. Words, the only thing words do is cast what? Spells. And we just jacked up in this land. They did it, and they did it on purpose. That's to keep us on a disconnect. I'm telling you, this Nimrod thing is not new. This Nimrod spirit, just like they always say, the Jezebel spirit has been around a long time. Well, the Jezebel spirit had to derive from a Nimrod spirit. I have to tell you, Nimrod predates Jezebel, but it's the same spirit. There we go again. And I'm telling you, my words cast spells. And I'm gonna jump in and give you a good example of it. How do you spell a word? Spell. How do you spell words? Now I'm gonna say this. Word cast spell. Same word. I just used it. Okay. Take the word evil. EVIN. Flip it around. What does it spell? LIVN. Live. I can play word game with you all day long. Put a D in front of evil. DEVIL. Devil. Where did Moses get the tablets from? He had tablets, remember? See, I just told you about the Samaritan king list, and I told you about the epic of Gilgamesh, and all these things was written on stone and tablets. What were the Ten Commandments written on? Stone, tablets. Okay. Where did he get those tablets from? Mount where? Sinai, right? SINAI. Mount Sinai. Sin. SINAI. Have you ever heard of AI? Okay. And today's time, I'm pretty sure you know much about AI, and it's about to be AGI. You probably don't even know that yet. Because once it becomes AGI, watch out. So he got the tablets from Sinai, SINAI. Sin, SINAI. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more, because I told you I can do this and we can keep going, but I'm not gonna take you too far down that road. Let's deal with Genesis. You know how here we go. Like, my son has my genes, and your children, more than likely, if you have many, have your genes, right? Because that's what makes up a person. Your genes, okay? Their DNA, that same thing, your genes, okay? Now let's use this word. Genesis, right? It's GENES. Genes. Then you got IS, eels. Let's do it again. Genesis. GENES. Genes. IS, eels. Genes is. The Most High God made a type of man. He had different genes than the double-tongued man that was already in the garden. I'm done with the words. I just want to share that with you guys right quick. And now remember, we got the three religions on this planet, the three major religions, which is Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. I'm going to say it again. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. Three of the largest. And it's so many denominations fitted within the confines of Christianity, over 45,000. So don't start telling me I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. Don't tell me that I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Don't start telling me that you're from a church or a non-denomination church. Don't tell me all of that. Don't tell me about the Episcopalian, Presbyterian. I don't want to hear all of that. And then even when you start talking about the other different forms of Christianity, like I said, it's 45,000, but it's all confined into one that makes it such a huge number. But Islam, Shiite, Sunni, Judaism, Ashkenaz, Sephardi, might mess around with another one or so. Same thing with Islam. But when you go to Christianity, a wide variety of different beliefs and denominations. But who do you have again? You have Ham, the father of the African nation, where most of Islam come from. Then you have Japhet, the European nations, and most of Asia, where most of the Christianity has been evolving. And then you have from the western part, the western part of Asia, the far eastern part of Africa, up there with Jerusalem and on down in those Middle Eastern countries, you have people like Shem and Judaism and Islam mixed, right? So you got three sons, and then you got three of these major beliefs. You can call them religions or whatever you want, but three major beliefs. This is old news, people. One of the biggest secrets on the planet is the American Black, because we've yet to find out who we are, where we fit in, why, and all the lights. I did not veer off topic once again, because here we cover world health, academia, and times. And every now and then, I just like to be a little educational outside of the Bible or outside of the scriptures. And you heard me mention some things now. The Sumerian kinglets, you heard me mention some things. The Epic of Gilgamesh, you heard me mention some things. I'm just going to stop right there, because I keep going, I'm going to stop. However, this has been a moment I enjoy. I hope you guys got something out of the chart that was posted as far as the timeline, so you can actually see, Abraham being alive at the same time as Noah was alive, and also Shem, he outlived Abraham. I hope the guy, Mr. Trey, was able to expound on it just a little bit outside of the chart that you all were able to look at. And all I can say is, there's so much that's been left out. And some people might want to say, well, what does that have to do with spirituality? Well, if you're going to worship the Most High in spirit and in truth, you got to know some truths. It's some truths you're going to have to know. Even after Ethiopian eunuch, after Philip expounded on what he was reading, he said something about being baptized. And the eunuch is like, man, I don't mind where the water at. See, here we go again. But when you get those meanings of these words that has often confused us when we're reading scripture, the Most High can deal with your heart better. Because other than that, you're going to be close to on a path of deception. Yahshua said in the last days, take heed that no man deceive you. And you can easily be deceived, especially with strong words like drunk and naked and all of that type of stuff. Because the first thing that comes to our mind is a person without clothes. Next thing comes to our mind is a person that consumes so much alcohol to where he's out of control. So let us understand not only naturally, so we need to start understanding the spiritual meanings or the Hebrew meanings, so we can understand better in a spiritual way. Gets us closer to that Christ consciousness that the Most High desires to be in. So I just hope you got a little bit out of this. You know, sometimes I go all over the place in the scriptures, but I just kind of stuck it. I kind of want to stick and stay because I was kind of piggybacking off our last post that we when we talked about, the pre-flood and we talked about Ham. We already discussed Nimrod. We put him before his grandfather. I just felt the need to go back to his grandfather to introduce Abraham to where this could possibly, where we can be going with this. But to just know that Abraham and Noah live in the same lifespan, that's remarkable. It helps me to know better now, maybe how Abraham was actually introduced to the spirit of the Most High God. You know, it helps me understand that better, especially if he got out of his father's house and he was around all that idol worshiping for all that time. Just idol worshiping. His his father Terah being Nimrod's chief idol constructor. I mean, making all the idols of stone and idols of wood. And the Most High told Aaron, get out of get out of this country, man. Get out of your father's house. Get up out of there. I can't communicate with you here. Abraham, where I'm going, don't worry, I'm gonna send you somewhere. Abraham, I probably already knew about Noah. Think about it. Just think about it. I'm just saying, just think about it. Noah lived 600 years pre-flood, made it through the flood. Now he 300, he hit 300, 900 and some more years. I mean, 200 and some more years added to the 3. You got another 350. So by the time Abraham born, you might be looking at Noah been here now 800 plus years. All on the backside of 800. You think Abraham didn't know about Noah? Believe that if you want to. Even Nimrod reached out to Noah. And I'm going to close it right there. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. I appreciate you taking this journey with Kay and I. We really take it serious. I just want to give you information. That's all I want to do. You take the information and do what you want to do. You can take it, check it out, apply it, or you can trash it and stay in the state that you've been in the state that you'll probably always be in. And if you're fine with that, it doesn't bother me much. I just got to worry about what's going on inside of this shell, this spirit, this energy that's been given to me. So I'm just sharing the things that hadn't been more than likely shared with a lot of you guys. And if you do know about it already, keep up with the good studies. Learn Hebrew meanings of words when you're looking in that book, or you're going to be like most other people. You're going to get discouraged and you're going to run away from it, especially what they're doing in the building right now, because they think about money too much. I want to be blessed and highly favored, and that makes you think that you're about to have money and a big car and a big house and all that. You want to be blessed and highly favored. That means you want understanding given to you. Understanding of whom? The same God you say you believe. Spirit of the Most High. Yeshua's. The one that he called Father. David, the one he said, the Lord is my shepherd. These are the ones. This is where we're trying to go. So what you do now, just like I said, continue to follow us down, and you can comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, because we're going to be coming back at you, and we appreciate you so much. Check out the K Healthy Plate of the Day. Yeah, these are real meals now. These are meals that she actually prepare and we actually consume. And also take a look at our mystery buildings. We thank you. Can't thank you enough. Until we see you again, I'm going to say as I always say, what the flux. I'm out of here.
Built 1,100 years ago, but it survives quakes that crush modern concrete. This is Prambanan Temple in Indonesia, a 9th century Hindu complex built with zero cement. Every tower is stacked from volcanic stone blocks, cut and locked like a 3D puzzle, so they flex during quakes instead of cracking. The main temple rises 47 meters, surrounded by over 240 smaller shrines. Each block was shaped by hand, no steel tools, no machines. Yet the walls are still straight after centuries of quakes, rain, and heat. In 2006, a major earthquake hit. Houses failed, but Prambanan's core towers stayed standing. Engineers later checked the joints and found the stones set with millimeter-level accuracy, made to absorb shock better than rigid concrete. All of this sits about 30 kilometers from one of the world's most active volcanoes, Mount Merapi, a 9th century design still beating modern tech. Would you trust this ancient quake-proof temple more than a new apartment tower?